So Tesla is now suing an Optimus engineer who used to work at Tesla, who basically stole trade secrets and then immediately launched his own robotics hand company, potentially using Tesla's trade secrets to run his own startup on the backs of Tesla's data. At least that is what a new Tesla lawsuit alleges. Now we have the actual lawsuit. When you look at the actual details of the lawsuit, it's kind of like, dude, how dumb could you be? At least based on what Tesla's alleging, right? These are allegations. Remember in the lawsuit, it's allegations, but still, take a look at this. Tesla lawsuit says former engineer stole secrets for robotic startups. Here's a Reuters article. Here's a Bloomberg article. And less than a week after he left Tesla, Proception was incorporated. And within just 5 months, Proception claimed to have successfully built an advanced humanoid robotic hand. A hand that bore a strikingly similar resemblance to the designs that Lee worked on while at Tesla. That's interesting and unfortunate for those who are Chinese, given that this appears to be a Chinese name, Zhongji Li. I'm going to go with Chinese here. But anyway, nicknamed Jay, who worked at Tesla between August 22 and September 2024. He's now being sued by Tesla, rightfully so. But I want you to see the actual lawsuit, because some of these allegations, it just makes me wonder, like, bro, how dumb can you be? But anyway, here we go. So Lee was employed at Tesla between these days. However, on July 1st, Lee was reassigned to the Optimus chest computer team. Following the assignment, Lee did not have any further responsibilities related to Optimus sensors or hands. Following Lee's reassignment from the hand sensor team to the chest computer team, Lee, without authorization, accessed highly sensitive and confidential Optimus hand-related files that he no longer needed access to. From his Tesla desktop computer and at least 2 smartphones, Lee improperly accessed and downloaded Optimus-related hand files, even though he wasn't even working on hand motion. And he downloaded source code related to Optimus hand motion, actuators, and confidential tactile sensor information, so like fingertip, sensing information. On July 13th, in violation of Tesla's mobile device policy, Lee surreptitiously logged into Tesla's SharePoint using a web browser on an iPhone, downloading 2 files to the iPhone from the Gen 4 4-arm FT sensing SharePoint. These documents containing sensor diagrams and specifications related to Optimus's hand motion and actuators were squarely outside of Lee's scope of employment at the time. July 15th, access working document again on the hand. July 18th and 23rd and 30th, repeatedly accessed internal spreadsheet on Optimus material strength, material and sensor design and data calculations. Finger and data cycling on 29, 1, and 2 of August. A 353-page slide internal PowerPoint on tactile sensing in dexterous robot, hand motion and tension sketches and diagrams, as well as feasibility studies. Finger renderings. And days before his anticipated departure date of September 6th, Lee accessed a dashboard that tracks current updates, tickets, and next steps pertaining to the development of the Optimus hand and roadmap milestones. He also accessed a PowerPoint that contains proprietary research and analysis, benchmarks, performance targets, equations, sketches for flexible sensor designs for parts of the humanoid. On September 11th, 12th, Lee accessed confidential documents containing requirements, measurements, and the strategy related to Optimus sensors, as well as design targets and technology, as well as films, layouts, and architectures. On the 13th, Lee's last day, Lee accessed multiple files on his final day of employment on various internal development and testing scenarios. On the 13th, the day he stopped using his Tesla-issued laptop as of 2 p.m., he continued to access Tesla's data on his phone until 8:55 p.m. During the and this is where I'm just like, man, how dumb can you be, dude? Like, this is so dumb. Ready for this? During the 2 months prior to leading up to his departure, Lee also conducted voluminous online searches from his Tesla desktop computer related to humanoid robotic hands, as well as searches related to venture capital funding and venture capital startup resources, such as Kadan Capital Robotics and Stanford startup resources. His scheme was in motion at least as early as July 2024, as the following searches show he was seeking funding for his secret venture at the time. Does YC fund companies? I think he meant VC, but okay. Apparently he doesn't know how to type very well. Bay Area Robotics Incubator. Does incubator provide funding? Defendant then, opened up Proception 6 days after he left Tesla, and only 5 months after its founding, March of this year, Proception touted that it had successfully built advanced humanoid robotic hands. Proception also claimed in its coming 9 months it would make the first shipments to research customers. Absent specific know-how, this is improbably fast for a development cycle. Basically, Tesla's like, hey, look at the YouTube videos demonstrating Proception's hand functionality and compare it to what Tesla shows. In other words, like, the guy basically just scammed and skimmed off, Tesla's stuff, and is now using it to fund his own VC, or maybe not necessarily fund his own VC, but try to get funding for his own VC. So here's the Proception video. Hey, quick reminder, if you want to earn a 5% yield plus all of the upside in my real estate startup, we are offering a non-accredited investor round where we will pay you a 5% yield plus you get all of the upside in the stock when your stock converts in the future. It gives you an opportunity to diversify away from rich stock market valuations, diversify away from most tariff risk, diversify away from the craziness of the treasuries market, especially with these Moody's downgrades. You diversify into fixer-upper real estate, which is what I believe I do best. This is my baby. I call it my little Berkshire Hathaway. Now, maybe I'm biased, but I've got over $5 million of my own money invested into this business, and I'm so excited for what I think we're going to be able to do with this business over not just the next years, but the next decades. So if you want to invest in my real estate startup, go to househack.com and know that I will do everything for this business in my power to make sure we can do the absolute best that we can. Make sure to read the solicitations and disclosures on the Househack website, because there is risk with every investment. I'll play that in just a moment here, but it's kind of like, how could you use Tesla's internal stuff to run these searches? Like, yeah, that actually does look pretty, I mean, Optimus has done very similar things here. It's actually honestly kind of a really cool pitch for Tesla's technology, because it just shows you how good Tesla's stuff is and how important their research is, because it shows that you could sort of replicate this. But unfortunately, this is also the kind of stuff that like saboteurs in like China or whatever can get their hands on. I mean, the guy was Chinese after all. And then what? Then the Chinese robotic companies that Amazon wants to partner with to deliver your packages, well, they end up using the IP to manufacture the stuff a lot cheaper than we can. So and that's why I think many people understand Donald Trump's frustration with China and stealing our intellectual property. That's an interesting clip. Right at the end, hold on, that video went away. They brag about how they have a team of just 6 people, and how quickly they were able to develop this, which I think just sort of like feeds into the argument that they stole this data from Tesla. Let's try to look at that again here. That was right there. Development time 3 months. Coke, 0 consumed, 612 cans. Team size, 6th. Hardware, Gen. First half of the year, maybe, H1 or hand 1. Wow. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. You gotta say, this is remarkably similar to what Tesla does with its hand actuators. I mean, let's jump into the Gen 2. This is already a year old, right? But let's look at, we get any, yeah, you can kind of see. Yeah, there you go. Remarkably similar. And this is a year-old technology now, right? I mean, he ninja'd this stuff back in July and September. So it makes sense that his video would be similar to the Tesla technology that was available in July or September of last year. See, these hand motions and movements, very, very similar to what you saw in that Proception video. Very interesting. So, I mean, honestly, good on Tesla here to sue this individual. Tesla did attach multiple exhibits to their lawsuit, but I will say most of the exhibits relate to internal disclosures, NDAs. Like, there was nothing really exciting. This will all likely come up in discovery, so not really worth showing beyond the actual complaint itself, which is here. The confidential products obtained were based on Tesla's investigation through date, that he improperly acquired the information. Remember, he was moved to the chest unit from the arm unit. What are they asking for here? Let's see here. They are asking for, they believe the damages would be in excess of $75,000. They're not asking for 70. My guess is they're going to ask or demand an injunction against this guy's ability to operate, right? So let's see what their prayer for relief is. Prayer is a judgment in favor of Tesla for all the claims, compensatory and damages, prejudgment awards. Here, an order temporarily and preliminary enjoining Lee and all his agents in the lawsuit, that's fine. An order, excuse me, blah, blah, blah. Transfer legal title to Tesla for all IP, all costs. I'm surprised there's not like a demand for an injunction in here. Maybe that was a separate filing, because typically, in something like this, you'd also rapidly say like, hey, like, stop them from being able to operate. But that looks pretty damning. And so that was a lawsuit that was basically just filed. And it just shows you the oopsie doopsies of how like critical it is to protect your intellectual property. The filing actually looks like it was filed last night, given that the filing date here does say 6/11. So here you can see some of the involved parties, and this is a law firm apparently representing multiple law firms here representing Tesla. So it doesn't look like they're using their internal, although they have attorneys over here as well. So they've got an external law firm and the internal lawyers. So we've got a lot of lawyers involved here, all against Jay and Proception, Delaware Corporation. Yeah, it doesn't look good, Jay. I think you done effed up over here. I mean, again, it's a lawsuit and it's an allegation. We'll see what his defenses are, but if they have records showing these, sort of accesses of documents that weren't necessary for him to hit, it'll look good. Tesla's dropping a little bit today, down about 126. We did have a little bit of a rally after positive comments from Trump that he likes Tesla. No negative comments on the press briefing this morning with Trump, which is good for Tesla in the near term. Obviously, broadly, we still have these issues with the Chinese trade war and just tariffs more broadly. But at least in the near term, more optimism just coming out of that White House about Elon, hoping that there isn't like quiet retaliation happening. That said, the California EV mandate could be a little, like the removal of that via congressional resolution that was just signed by Trump. Those could sort of weaken some of the, bull theses longer term for Tesla vehicles, although that may not matter much if we're going to a robotaxi, platform anyway. And then, of course, the big beautiful bill killing the $7,500 EV tax credit. Again, though, may not matter if in the future the intention for Tesla is that people won't buy cars anyway, that they're just going to use robotaxis. We'll see. I personally look forward to robotaxis because I'm tired of getting into like weirdo Uber rides where they want to either nearly kill you because they're really bad at driving, or they don't want to run the AC because they're too cheap to run the AC, so you're sweating your butt off back there. And when you ask them to turn it up, they turn it up like half a notch. Or they insist on driving with the windows down the whole time, or they try to sell you God, or I don't know, whatever other awkward business cards they're handing out. And it's like the experience consistency in an Uber is like zero. There should be like a rule, like things not to do when you're an Uber driver. And there are allegations that Uber drivers can get their reviews and ratings reset every so often from Uber. So like if you got a bunch of 1-star reviews and your rating goes down to like a 4, they might just like reset you to like a 4.9-star review and give you another chance. These are rumors. I've just heard those rumors. I don't know if they're true, but like I'm tired of Ubers because of that. Like I get frustrated when we take an Uber. We use Ubers, you know, when we're traveling, sometimes it doesn't make sense to get a rental car in a particular market, but or for the use case that we have. But I look forward to robotaxis. Anyway, go get them, Tesla.